All right, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to have some coffee first in my new coffee mug that I got from Santa. All right. So here we are. We're going to do another example on our real world objects in perspective page. It looks like that. We're going to be following our 3 rules as we always do. We're going to see if we can make an accurate illusion. We're going to be working today with the TV. So we're going to be working with this guy over here. One of the more simple ones. It's a good one to start with if you're trying to, remember how to do one-point perspective drawing, something a little bit more simpler than the chair or the table or even the lamp. So without further ado, let's get started. So first step is always going to be to connect the edges of any given object back to the vanishing point, especially if we're dealing with angular objects, these geometric shapes that we're dealing with right here. So there are a few, we know that we're going to start with the corners that are closest to the vanishing point. Remember, as we do this, we never want to connect corners to the vanishing point that are overlapping with our object. So for example, we would not connect this bottom right corner back to the vanishing point because that line would overlap or draw over the object that we already have. And as we know, the object that we can see right now that is given in all of these different examples, that side of the object is always going to be closest to us, so we don't want to have any overlapping lines with it. So we're just going to go around kind of the border, the circumference has a word, of our object and just connect all of our corners. Don't forget, you guys can go ahead and do this with me, by the way. So go ahead and get your ruler out and start doing this. We're going to go at a speed that everyone can follow. So let's go ahead and complete this together. We're going to look for every single corner, no matter how small. Some of these are going to get kind of tight, so try to be as accurate as you can. All right, we do have another one down here, the bottom of this weird TV shelf. Everyone's looking at this TV probably and are like, what is this TV doing? Is that even a TV? Is that a microwave? I don't know, because TVs just don't look like this anymore. So we got one more, it looks like, down here. It's the bottom of the TV stand. There we go. So we got a lot of lines that are kind of very close together over here, so we're going to want to keep an eye on that. I'll try to bring it in a little bit closer just so you can see what we're working on. So that's pretty much everything over here on the side. I'm going to keep my eye on this corner over here. Matter of fact, we might as well just do it right now. So I'm going to do this corner. We may need it, we might not. If it looks like in the end we're going to need that, we'll keep it. Otherwise, we'll erase it. No harm, no foul. Sometimes you just have to do that. Just kind of guess and check and see how that works. That looks pretty good so far. All right, now we're going to be dealing with these parallel lines that we talked about at the beginning of class. The first one, we're going to start over here at the top just because that's where I chose to start. You can start pretty much anywhere. It doesn't really matter. I just like going in order because I think it's a little bit easier. So we're going to look at our first 2 orthogonal lines, right? The one that's overlapping with the lamp, and then the second one over here. The one line that connects these 2 orthogonal lines is this horizontal line. It's the top of the TV. It's this guy right here. That's what we're looking at. So we're going to get our ruler out. We're going to line it up with the top of that TV. And we're just going to slide that ruler straight up towards the vanishing point. We're going to line it up nice and straight. Make sure that these 2 lines are parallel. Remember, if 2 lines are parallel, if you extend them in either direction, they will never cross, ever. And we're going to do that right there. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty square. Again, if you want to double check it, you can. Yeah, don't worry about it, Alexis. You can get out of here. Thanks for telling me. All right. Yeah, moving forward. Here we go. So now that we have this first horizontal line, that's this guy done. The next one we have to do is this vertical line over here that sits between these 2 orthogonal lines. So just for safety, just to make sure that we have this totally correct, we're going to use our ruler. We're going to put it perfectly even with the side of the TV, and then we're going to slide it until we get to that intersection of the last line and our last orthogonal line. So we're going to go ahead and add in that vertical line over there on the back. Again, just taking a quick look at it. If it looks good, you can move on. If it looks a little wonky, maybe you erase it and try it again. Nothing wrong with that. Just making sure that everything is super parallel. All right, next line, we're just going in order. So the next two orthogonal lines are going to be these two. It's kind of tight. Little small guy right here, and that is this little shelf over here at the bottom. We're going to go ahead and add that to the back side of our TV. So we're going to line this up with our ruler. We're going to slide it back towards the vanishing point until it intersects with that vertical line that we just drew. That intersection point, in case you can't see it, is right there. So we're going to line up our ruler. We're going to make our orthogonal line. Nope, sorry, we're going to make our horizontal line between our two orthogonal lines right there. It's easy to get lost in these little tiny lines. Just try to keep on top of it and kind of go step by step, and you should be okay. Next one is going to be even smaller. It's this little tiny vertical line right here, another component of the edge of the TV stand, I guess. So we're just going to go ahead and line that up. It's harder, the shorter the lines get, the harder it is to make sure that everything is vertical. So we're just really going to take a good long look at our ruler, make sure that it's completely vertical, trust that it's good, and then draw a little short little line. So it's a small line up here, and as we know, things get smaller and smaller as they go further back in space. So it's a very, very short line. I even went a little bit overboard over here. But there we go. It's done. Last line we need to make is kind of a weird one because we don't have two orthogonal lines to look at, right? So all we have is kind of a guess as to where this is going to be. I can see that the edge, so I'm looking at this line down here. I can see that's a little bit outside of this vertical line on the TV. So I'm going to find that vertical line on the TV, which is the second line that we made. I'm going to slide my ruler out a little bit, and then I'm just going to sneak in a small little vertical line somewhere over here. And really that line could go anywhere. We just want to make sure it's there so it kind of finishes the illusion. And we're good. So we have this guy in the back that we've already put in that can just stay there. Remember, we didn't, as soon as this line runs into the TV, we're going to stop drawing, right? And just let it go. We don't need to continue it back to the vanishing point. So we just went just a little short little line right there. That kind of shows us where the edge of that TV tray is. So we've done 2 of our 3 steps, connected all the corners of the vanishing point. Then we went ahead and we drew the sides of the object using parallel lines. And then last but not least is we're going to go ahead and erase all the orthogonal lines that we don't need, like these dotted lines. So we're going to start at the vanishing point, use our eraser, get rid of these extra orthogonals. Remember, orthogonal lines are lines that go through the vanishing point. We're going to stop as soon as we get to our object. We don't want to erase that. Erase all of our hard work. There we go. And we got kind of a tight group of lines that we can start erasing over here. And then get much more intentional as we get closer to the object. Try not to erase anything that we've drawn that we need. Again, kind of difficult. Do the best you can. All right. And if we want to, we can do a quick check of our object. All right. So we're making sure that all of our lines are parallel. This top one is horizontal. That back one looks totally horizontal as well. We have a vertical line on the side of the TV, which also matches with this back vertical line. We got a horizontal, also matches with the horizontal in the back. Tiny little vertical line right there that also matches with our vertical line. Last but not least, this last one we kind of guessed at, so we got a vertical line that also sits back here. Looks pretty good. So it passes to me. It passes the eyeball test. So just looking at this out of nowhere, it does look like it's in 3 dimensions. It looks like it's good to go. Looks good to me. So I'm going to move on to my next object, and that is that. Does anyone have any questions on that process? Again, the same process we've been using.